At the beginning of the video, we are shown a woman looking at a deer doll in the surroundings, which are already destroyed. She cries and sings because she feels late coming here. Amazingly, this girl's singing can make the weather clear like pong rain. Nizrara and the damaged buildings there are becoming more visible. It turns out this girl's name is Feria Barcelos, and her new assistant is named Ellen because there are no survivors in this area anymore. So the two of them will continue their journey to the next place by train. And on the way, Ellen tells Feria that ahead there is a village called Ule, which is already seen burning. It can also be seen that there is chaos in this village. It looks very messy, and there is a child in distress in that village. On the other hand, many other villagers have died because they were eaten by a mysterious creature named Pieces Peria. Seeing this, she swears that she will save more people because she had previously failed due to coming late. It turns out that the people who were eaten turned into terrifying physical creatures instantly. The child who was in trouble earlier went to another place to save himself from the monster siege. Almost all places have been taken over by these monsters. Then she goes to the station to save herself, but the monsters start coming there and the child is surrounded by the monsters. When he's almost resigned to his fate, a man comes and confidently tells Ellen that he will do as usual as a 7-night fighter. Then Feria here managed to save the child from the monster siege. On the other hand, Feria here has great power. She is able to defeat some monsters with her lightning magic power. Because there are too many, so she has no choice but to use the succession card, and finally, she changes into something really cool. Wow, that change is called Transit, and Feria here becomes stronger so she can fight all the monsters here. It turns out that the child Feria saved is named Nemo, a prospective student at Grand Academy. Feria feels grateful to save one person even though it's only Nemo. Then they go by train to go to the Migration Academy. But here they are served coffee and snacks while chatting. Why did Feria save him even though she got hurt here? Vario said that more than 5 cities have been swallowed by darkness and he couldn't do much, but in the end he was grateful to be able to save Nemo just in time. Here we are told a little about the origin of the monster pieces attacking humans, where it all started when the evil god named Nestra wanted the destruction of the world. Until now, there are many cults worshipping the evil god to keep destroying the world, but there are also heroes sent by the goddess to defeat them, plus the academy students who serve as world protectors. Currently, they are the successors of the past hero's power. Nemo gives a reason why he applied because someone said he had the potential to become a hero. Then Feria here encourages Nemo, who might be the strongest among the other students. On the other side, there are business monsters rising and getting ready to attack the train ridden by Feria and Nemo after the train flips due to Feria's physical attack. Here, Feria is injured while protecting Nemo. However, as the leader of 7, Feria remains strong and willing to risk his life to protect someone. Although Feria is injured, he can fight quite well against Size, but these business monsters can regenerate quickly and grow stronger after being slashed. Nemo, here, starts to be targeted by these monsters. Feria, not wanting to be a victim, is forced to use his power to create a protective barrier. The business monsters can't penetrate the shield made by Feria. From here, Feria instructs Nemo to escape with Ellen to the next station, which is a mile away. But Nemo doesn't want to leave Feria alone, yet Feria says the best thing is to save as many people as possible. Feria here is determined to die. Since entering Garancid Academy, hearing that, Nemo certainly doesn't want that to happen. Suddenly, Nemo gets a card that can connect him to the subconscious where Dewey Saras is. Here, Nemo asks Dewey Saras to give him the power to save Feria, but the price to be paid must be commensurate with the desired power by Nemo without hesitation. Here, Nemo is ready to give his life in exchange for that power. Hearing this request, Dewey Saras gives Nemo the desired power and inherits a power from one of the heroes. When the barrier breaks, Feria is saved by Nemo, who has gained his hero's power. Feria, whose hero's name is Eunomia, says that what Nemo inherited is one of his acquaintance's heroes. Though not perfect yet, Nemo fights well enough to even fetch Feria's weapon near the monster. Here, Caria also sees the power of succession like Nemo, but with this, they can finally fight and battle as fellow Grand Sheets. Nemo is also guided by Feria and his hero to fight, and finally they manage to defeat the monster with a deadly combo. This time, Feria feels saved by Nemo, so finally they thank each other. Arriving at Garancid Academy, there is a woman named Mile watching from the window. Ellen reports about her damaged train. Although the train is valuable, Feria's words are very meaningful, where human life is more important and valuable than anything else. It is also known that Feria is the head of the student council in this academy. On the other side, there is a man pushing a cart with a frozen piece monster called Minata on top of it. It turns out this monster is brought for research. This man is named Joe Storogi, one of the 7 Night members and also a member of the student council who has the power of a hero as cold as ice named Spike. Then Feria arranges a meeting with the 7 Night members. The others introduce Nemo to them, where Nemo would be the last member of the 7 Night, although some agreed and some followed the lead of their leader, but there were members who disagreed because he was a new student with no experience at all. Furthermore, the 7 members had to be cleansed by the greatest heroes who could protect the world at present. As the chairman understood that their presence was still uncertain about Nemo, but Feria believed in her hero, Eunomia, that the hero within Nemo could be trusted. And after being told that Nemo could make a contract in his first action, everyone was surprised, but also here they did not know the name of his hero because this was the first time he met. Hearing Feria's explanation, finally, everyone agreed and was asked to guide Nemo around the academy. After being praised and admired by the chairman for initially refusing the order, although while wandering, Joe remained disapproving. But finally, he explained that he wanted to become stronger like the previous heroes so he could protect people even though his life was at stake. But because Nemo was too pessimistic here, Joe was angry because as a new member of the 7 Knight, Nemo should be more mature. When Nemo said that protectors would die along with the enemy, then there would be no one left to protect society. The point here is that Cinema wants to say that heroes should not die in battlefields, but Joe's anger was stopped by Mrs. Milf, who we saw at the beginning of school. This teacher was named Shopia, who served as a librarian at the academy. She heard rumors about Nemo, who managed to contract with a hero in one battle, so Sensei Shopia here was interested in him. This was a rare event because Nemo could be guided by a destiny, not by hard work first before getting a contract. Again praised by Soviet to the laboratory because he was happy to be praised by Sensei Shopia. Finally, Joe continued to tour the academy with Nemo after finishing the tour. Here Joe returned to training because he felt annoyed by Nemo's words earlier. On the other hand, when Nemo returned, he was welcomed by Feria and Ellen, who said that she hoped more from Nemo, who succeeded in making a contract outside the academy library even though Nemo was still doubtful. But he would still try to do better. Nemo also felt awkward because in the OSIS dormitory, there were only the 3 of them now. Then in the lesson, the teacher taught about the past of the heroes called the 7 Knight, where they had the greatest service to face the evil god who wanted destruction in this world. After the learning ended, Nemo met Gareth, who was another member of the 7 Knight, and he asked for Nemo's help to bring a document or potion to the alchemy lab because he felt uncomfortable going there. Nemo accepted the offer, and when he arrived there, Nemo gave the potion from Gareth to a student, who coincidentally also met Joe in the chemistry lab. But unbeknownst to them, the business monster that Zoo caught yesterday seemed to have escaped and caused a commotion. Joe immediately took action and managed to attack the monster because Sensei was in danger. Then Joe also instructed Nemo and the others to go to a safe place so he could fight freely, but the monster seemed to grow stronger because of its regenerative business power. Joe faced increasing difficulties here, but Nemo came and said that Joe should leave too. But he couldn't do that because the city would be in danger if he couldn't handle this creature. Nemo's thinking here was quite naive, but he eventually joined the fight to hold back the monster with Joe, and their teamwork wasn't too bad as they managed to freeze the monster and slowly wanted Nemo to stay away here because he could freeze too. But Nemo received a whisper from his hero, telling him that Nemo had to end this because the monster would keep moving even though its life had no life left. Nemo's demeanor changed a bit here, if you get me, guys. After the core of the monster was visible, Jody's immediately ended this battle. Shopee was a bit surprised here and said they had saved everyone here. Then Joe talked a little about his past where his father died protecting many people, including himself, so he wanted to become stronger and be like his father. Here it seems that Nemo has accepted Nemo, who is no longer afraid of danger and continues to fight. After this commotion ends, Feria and the others come to see the situation. The members of the 7 Knight hold a meeting about the increasingly strong PCS monsters to this day where they have destroyed 3 cities without a trace. Nevertheless, Feria here believes that the Knights at the Migration Academy will be able to defeat and save more people. After the meeting ends, Chairwoman Feria here has prepared home-cooked food for everyone. However, it seems that everyone doesn't really want to eat it. At first, I thought it would be weird food, but it turns out everyone doesn't want to eat food from Feria because they might have given this food too often, so they feel bored. On the other hand, Nemo, a new student, really likes Feria's croquette food. After that, Nemo was approached by a sex teacher who praised Nemo for yesterday's fight with Joe. Besides that, she also hoped for Nemo and the other 7 Knight members to be able to save everyone. The other models gathered on the terrace to discuss Nemo, who was brave and had been recognized for his strength. Here, another 7 Knight member named Gilden had to fight harder for the sake of his family and Nemo's siblings. Nemo dreamed of his hero in a burning library, but he eventually woke up again. Called by Feria, who was already prepared as she had received a call for help to the floating island of Yball, where there was a group of flying monsters that could not be handled by the local army. So finally they asked for help from the academigration, and it had been a long time since all 7 members gathered to carry out a mission here. Gilden still seemed unsure of himself. The monsters here targeted the silver hourglass, and shortly after that the 7 members descended from the sky and changed using their succession. Peria reacted first here and successfully defeated some pieces of power from the other 7 Knight members were not less great, and they could easily fight against the Pisces. Gilden here was a little careless because he forced himself, But finally, he was saved by Nemo and his business monster was successfully overcome by the duo of Nemo and Joe who, like before, the warlocks or locals were very happy and amazed by the strength of the male heroes. Here gave a report to their superiors about their mission this time which concerns business lately, always targeting the hourglass. His boss said they would investigate it and they also said to keep an eye on Nemo. Feria here complained because giving reports like this was always unavoidable and she still had other reports to do. After this, Nemo and Joe here talked about Gilden's previous problems where Joe felt a little sorry for saying that Gilden seemed to be a burden. But he didn't mean it like that. On the other hand, Gilden had been treated by Shopia sensei. But because of the previous incident he also felt that he was a burden. And finally, here Gilden practiced regardless of his newly healed wounds until something strange happened to Gilden's body far away here explaining even though he is a prince from a country but suddenly there was an explosion that surprised Nemo and Joe on the side. Elsewhere, Feria also got news from Shirley that something strange happened to Gilden. Then Joe, Gareth, and Nemo found that Gilden had become a possession, where it could happen because the power flowing to be able to use the hero's power is irregular and erratic, which can result like this. Joe wants to end this even though it feels heavy, but Nemo stops the line and, far from killing Gilden who is in pain after being attacked, here Nemo finds an idea to try. Then, after being bound by his power, Joe tries to freeze the Gerald but fails. Consciousness kill, and here again he ordered his friend to immediately kill him, but Nemo here instead issued no jutsu words to be able to awaken Gilden from this situation. Helped by Gilden's fiery hero, his spark rekindled, Gilden finally had the determination to live, and they forcibly pulled Gilden from his monster body based on what Gilden commanded other students to be excited because there was a bright light behind the building. Finally, Gilden was rescued by Nemo and the others because he was exhausted. Here, Nemo fainted and woke up. Instead, he received a blessing from Feria, and it turned out he was okay. Here, Nemo was scolded a little by Feria because he was pushing himself too hard. If something had happened, but instead of listening carefully, Nemo was caught up in thoughts of the two mountains that had almost crushed him earlier, causing him to daydream. On the other side, Gilden was accompanied by two guys who made him feel suffocated. He also felt jealous of Nemo, who was getting attention from the leader, and then Gareth asked if Gilden didn't remember anything when the incident happened. Gilden confirmed that he didn't remember anything when he was in that position, but here, Gareth was just curious if the position happened quite frequently, so he wondered why someone like Gil could be affected like that. He suspected someone influenced Gil to change into that position. Nemo intended to leave because he was already feeling better, but Feria told Nemo to rest more because he had just recovered, and what's more surprising, Feria would continue to stay in Nemo's room until Nemo fully recovered. Yeah, right, both a man and a woman in the same room, a stagfrola. Feria here was busy cooking because his pan burned, which could be heard in Gilden's room because he couldn't cook anymore. So he ended up making croquettes, the only food he could cook here. Nemo was surprised that Feria had a pet cat that was very close to her. But it seemed the cat didn't like Nemo, then Feria took care of Nemo with excessive affection. But because she was tired, she finally rested. Not even a minute passed when Ellen came in and said that Feria had other work to do. It could be seen that Feria here lacked sleep and was tired, but she still forced herself to do everything. Here, a little story about Feria who inherited power from the Unimea hero. Besides, Feria also felt responsible for Nemo so she couldn't just ignore Nemo. At Maria Academy, she felt regretful because she couldn't save the village where Nemo lived at that time, but Nemo thought maybe Feria saw him as a burden. Nemo's friends also visited him. Their jokes now made Nemo feel calmer. Even Sensei Shopia visited to check on Nemo's condition, making Joe worried. Here, Gareth hoped Nemo would recover quickly because they needed his strength in the 7th night. They even played cards for fun, but Gilden always lost here 3 times in a row. But he said he still couldn't even know the name of his hero until now. Besides, he also couldn't chat with the hero as usual for someone who already had a contract. With their hero far away, they suggest asking Shopia Sensei, who is more knowledgeable about it. Nemo will think about it, and the commotion in Nemo's room is stopped by Shirley's arrival, who scolds them and warns that 7 Night can't relax now because the situation is becoming more serious. Because of this, Feria, the leader, also feels a bit guilty because it was her suggestion. On the other hand, Shirley overhears about Nemo's inability to communicate with their hero. However, she is also happy because she has some secrets of her own. Then, when Nemo and Feria walk down the hallway, they come across a stray male cat, worrying about the artwork because pets are not allowed in the dormitory. Finally, they chase the cat, but unfortunately, they encounter Shirley, known for her strict adherence to rules, along with her assistant. Luckily, they manage to avoid awkward questions and go search for the cat again. When night falls, the cat is in danger and Nemo jumps from the roof. Although Feria tries to save them, they both fall, but luckily Nemo's hero manages to save them, and the cat becomes closer to Nemo for saving it. Feria's hero warns them that a great storm is coming, so Feria needs to be prepared. Nemo decides to go to the library out of curiosity about their hero. However, after searching, they find that the hero blessing Nemo isn't in any history books, and even Shopia-sensei has never heard of the characteristics mentioned by Nemo. Because it's late, the search for this hero will continue another time. Next, there's a case where the discipline committee members are always being attacked, and the culprit hasn't been found. There are also vampire bite marks on the victims' bodies. Shirley, who is the head of the discipline committee, feels responsible for her members being constantly targeted. But she's already working too much, so her subordinates protest for her to take a rest, even though the victims have been hidden by Ellen. However, she doesn't know when the victims will wake up. With a shortage of discipline committee members, Nemo volunteers to help as a fellow 7-night member. The assistant of the discipline committee is named Mina, and Nemo remembers her from a chance encounter in the library yesterday. Mina is very happy that someone is helping with the case, especially since many discipline committee members have fallen. She hopes for more from Nemo. Shirley also relies on Nemo for this case, although she suspects Nemo is hiding something. As long as Nemo continues to help people in distress, it's enough for her. Nemo gathers information from clients who are still infatuated with Gareth Senpai. A player explains that vampires aren't monsters, they're essentially like humans and other races, but sometimes they drink blood for their food, but that doesn't mean they're evil. It's evil because on average vampires are good. But sometimes they're viewed poorly because they can also turn people into vampires if they want by biting them. After that, the interest comes accidentally. And finally, Nemo and Mina went home together while discussing this case. After that, there was a rumor that Shirley was a vampire, which made Mina sad. From here, Nemo knew that Mina really liked the committee chair. Then Mina invited Nemo to investigate the forest first because there's a place she hasn't checked yet. But what they found was Chair Shirley sucking Ellen's blood, maybe out of panic or whatever. Mina stepped on a branch here, so Shirley and Ellen knew of their presence, but instead of fighting, she ran away after seeing Nemo and Mina. Nemo, who saw that, of course wanted to chase her because he believed in Shirley, even though Minus tried to stop him. Nemo still went. You can guess if Minus' goodness all this time looked fake or seemed timely. So she showed her true face when Nemo still went after Shirley. After successfully catching up, Shirley got advice from her hero to deal with this issue and stop avoiding. Nemo asked if Shirley was the perpetrator of this case, but Shirley, feeling it was useless to explain that she wasn't the culprit, decided to fight Nemo. But in this fight, Nemo didn't counterattack and just defended. It turns out Shirley had a bad experience when she was a child where her family was killed by humans who thought they were monsters, even though Shirley's family were just vampires and never did anything evil to humans. Shirley, who lived alone, wandered around looking for a place to live, but was always avoided and attacked when they found out she was a vampire. So besides hiding that fact, there was a lecture here that Shirley just had to face this problem and not run away. And Nemo still didn't know that this was all Mina's plan. They entered a church because they saw Ellen being taken here physically. Mina came while showing her fangs, and it turns out she was a subordinate of the physicist here at the academy. Surprised because Mina was the mastermind of all this and also a subordinate of the pieces. The goal of the evil god and his followers is to reset the world. They can do this as long as the 7 knights are eradicated from this earth because no one besides the 7 can fight them. Mina here persuaded Shirley to join in destroying the world, but Shirley naturally refused that invitation. Hearing that response, Mina immediately attacked Nemo and Shirley easily, but Nemo didn't want to give up so easily to save Shirley even though it's tough. Even though the battle was heavily one-sided, with Mina dominating thanks to her physical strength, Shirley also fought back using her fire power, which is a weakness of vampires. However, Mina continued to regenerate rapidly. Meanwhile, Nemo had a way to end this and asked Shirley to hold on a bit longer. Here, Mina started attacking Nemo to thwart his plans. But after Mina was held back by Shirley's fire power, Nemo, who had already dealt with Pisces, immediately unleashed his new weapon from his hero power, and Mina, unable to dodge the attack, finally vanished into dust. Although they won, Nemo and Shirley felt sad for losing their friend. Despite her betrayal, emotions healed them after the fight, and Nemo received a small bonus from the series. Then, they received information about an old library where many books were lost due to a fire. The head librarian, named Genius, had become a double agent for ISIS. The one who defeated Genius was Feria's ancestor, Yonomiya. It's said that the curse of Genius continues to haunt the school. Born here, Feria was happy to help find old library documents for Gareth. However, Gareth's interest seemed low, so she didn't hesitate to leave after thanking him. Currently, many students are preparing to welcome the upcoming festival. Faria and Nemo visited a place and were helped by a player who opened a door with magic. Here, Clear talked a bit about his first meeting with Gareth, who saved him from danger. Since then, Clear admired and started liking him. Nemo didn't understand the meaning of love, but after hearing about it from the player, which might have caused a misunderstanding with Feria, Clear wanted to dance with Gareth.